Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet three of the driving forces behind Hindus of DFW. They have an amazing story that's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
All right, DFW is home to some 8 million people. It's a very growing population, and one of the fastest growing populations within DFW is the Hindus of DFW. Joining us today are three of the driving forces behind this amazing organization. I'll let you introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Jeff, for inviting us to your show. My name is Vishnu Chimmula. I live in Frisco. I'm a resident of Dallas Metroplex for the last 15 years. Moved here in 2011. Originally I'm from India, and moved to USA in 2005. And this is now my home. All my kids went to Frisco ISD, both my kids. And I was into IT, like many of Indian folks that you see here. And I retired from my IT job in 2022. I started my own startup, and now I'm into different field. As part of this effort, this is Hindus of DFW, member of the group here. It's established in about 1.5 years back. And there's a lot of activity going on here. As you said, this is a very prominent community that's growing very strongly. We're just here to be, share some of our stories, and I'm so glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Pankaj Kumar, live in Dallas and Hindu at heart. Thank you so much for having me in your show.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jeff. My name is Balaji Ariyanan. I live in Koppal, and I've been moved here in 2014. And we live in the American dream, and we love being in Dallas and being part of Hindus of DFW, and contributing back to the community and serving the community.
Well, I'm so impressed with your organization because you've only been around for 1.5 years, but it is growing by leaps and bounds. Talk about the organization and your mission and your ministry.
So I'll let Pankaj talk about that.
Right. So, there are so many different organizations. 350,000 people in the Metroplex are represented by, I would say, well over 100 organizations. Some of them are very old, going back like 30 years, 40 years. So their contribution, that is the contribution of Hindus into the Dallas Metroplex, has been 4 decades or more. There was a time when we thought that we're doing so much work in advocacy, in education, in community service, that should we all try to accomplish that through a single organization, while all other organizations remain relevant and continue to do the wonderful job that they are doing. And that's where the Hindus of DFW was born.
Well, I'm so impressed with your organization. We're going to go ahead and put up your website, and there's a slider on the homepage of your website that shows you really getting involved in the community and meeting with different mayors. How many different mayors have you met in the last 1.5 years?
I think it will be at least 50, 55 mayors on various occasions. Yes.
That's incredible. And I know family and faith is a big part of this organization. Let's spend a couple minutes talking about family. Who wants to take that question?
Balaji, you want to take? Or?
Yeah. So faith and family is a foundation of who we are and what we do. And family unity, our belief in God, and more than anything, to give back to the community in what we do and how we do. And that defines us. And we feel part of the larger Dallas-Fort Worth community. And whatever we do, we try to integrate to that concept and, want to collaborate and serve the community. I think that's what we are.
And I want to add one more thing to it. we come from India, and Hinduism is one of the prominent culture tradition from India. So Hindus believe in a fundamental concept called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is one family. So our belief system clearly says that everybody around is part of our family. So that obvious values that we carry keeps us in a position where we can actually immerse into any society that we live in.
Yes.
Naturally.
And this is a very divided world that we live in. It's very polarized, and thanks to social media, I think it's gotten more polarized. People will say stuff on social media that they may not even believe in, but they're saying it because they want to get likes and shares. And so when we talk about your religion, it's really about bringing people together, isn't it? Do you want to share?
Absolutely. No, Jeff, thank you so much for asking that question. When you say that we are all divided, and this is very fundamental to Hinduism, and what goes to define Hinduism is that truth can only be one. And if you really go and ask any of the Hindus in this world, which is about 2 billion people, their answer will be that they all are seeking the same truth, which cannot be different for you and me.
Yes.
It is the same. And that truth lies predominantly in the righteousness. What is right? And no matter how divided we are, if we all go and internalize this question of what is right, I tell you the answer will almost be the same, no matter how divided we stand.
Yes.
That righteous answer will always remain. And that's what defines fundamentally what Hinduism is all about.
And passing this on to the next generation, because I know as kids grow up, they don't always share the value of their parents and their grandparents. So talk about how Hindus of DFW brings that culture, brings that vision onto the next generation.
So our children growing up here have the perfect blend of two worlds. The world they come from the faith and from the families, and the world they live in. And I'm happy to say that our kids have been able to balance that very well. They're American and also Hindu at heart. And they showcase both the values exceptionally well. And we do that by our educational programs, our programs that we do in our temples and organizations where we instill the values that we have. Plus also we respect the culture and we respect the place we live in. So it's an integrated approach where we say that I'm Hindu, I'm also an American, and I'm proud to have both identities. And that's how I think our children are growing up here. Right.
And I tell you that the best example of that, which was again spearheaded by Balaji, and I'm so proud of it, is that because there is so much of war, unrest in the world, that, and this is about the kids and the family, that he undertook an initiative where a Hindu ritual was initiated that lasted 36 hours, and it was covered in 27 countries. I'm not talking cities, countries. And the countries after countries passed that, and there was not even 1 minute break in that shlokas or ritual. It was initiated from Dallas and it ended in Dallas. And in Dallas, there are 108 kids, all aged 14 years and below, who recited Sanskrit shlokas, which is fundamental, the text which were generated, thousands of years back.
Yes.
So to say that how the values are being passed, here's an example that 14 years and under, 108 kids reciting shlokas in Sanskrit, and that is the value that has been passed. And this ritual, which was conducted in 27 countries, was done only for one purpose, and that is world peace. There was no other goal. There was every ritual that Hindus do, we have to do in the beginning of the ritual. Let's say we announce that what is the purpose of this ritual.
Yes.
And when it was announced, it was only for world peace. And it ended in Ekta Mandir in Irving in Dallas Metroplex.
Wow.
And thank you so much, Balaji, for doing it.
So there are two concepts that I want to say. So one is a concept called Anbe Shivam, God is love. So as believers of the God, we have to be loving and kind to each other. And the second concept is, the whole world should be peaceful. So when you pray, we say Loko Samasta Sukhina Bhavantu. So the whole world will be should be peaceful. That is the intent, and that's the values that we want our kids and our next generation to take up, and to bring that kind of integration and celebrate both the cultures and kind of being well patient.
Right, there's a huge celebration every single year called Diwali. For the person who has not heard of Diwali, will you share?
Man, I think there's not a whole lot of people that have not heard about Diwali in Dallas, at least I can say that. Most of my neighbors, they are part of our celebrations. We invite them. But for those who doesn't know what is Diwali, Diwali is one of our biggest festival. It is celebrated on a couple of occasions. One, the Maryada Purushottam, who is Ram, Lord Ram, has returned to home after 14 years of exile. And then also his victory over evil. Those are the reasons why we celebrate it. But it has been celebrated for last, over 7,000 years, year after year. And it's one of our biggest festivals in engaging our, entire families coming together and celebrating. Not only just celebration at family level, individual family level, but on the occasion of Diwali, we also have a national drive in USA. It's called Seva Diwali. It's a service to the community, basically on the occasion of Diwali. What we do is, it started as a small project in New Jersey. So one family thought, okay, on this occasion, we are celebrating, but there are so many underprivileged members of the community. We want to do something for them. So that family, with along 3 other families, they started going and collecting the food to nearby communities where they are, struggling or needy people. And they donated that. And this was 2018, first time it was done. Now, after 7 years, last year, 2024 Seva Diwali, we have collected 700,000 pounds of food throughout the nation. And we have donated it to, a lot of food banks.
Yes.
And this happens during the October-November timeframe, before Thanksgiving. And then Thanksgiving onwards to Christmas, the bigger community here takes care of anyway the people around us. But before Thanksgiving, a lot of times food banks are not so full, right?
Yes.
There's a gap. So we try to, replenish that gap. And this year we have taken a Sankalp is translated to what? The challenge. It's not a challenge necessarily, but we committed ourselves to raise at least 1 million pounds of food to donate. And it's ongoing right now, and it will end in another 2 weeks from now.
We found a video on YouTube of a Diwali celebration at DFW Airport. Let's go ahead and roll that. So give some context to what we just watched.
So, Jeff, as the saying goes that, we are the magnet of what we think. You spread happiness, and then suddenly, you see that a lot of people get attracted to that bliss or happiness. And if you do something bad, then, that's what gets spread. So if you really see, this is DFW Airport. You go and look at, there are cultural programs where the mayors of, 15, 20 cities are dancing in Indian traditional clothes on Bollywood songs. President Trump is hosting something in White House, inviting, all accomplished Indians and saying that how, they're responsible for 150 billion or 20 billion and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So from the political, setup to the streets of the mainstream America, if you really see, there's one festival which is, whatever you say is foreign, it's predominantly an Indian festival, but it is adopted so very well because it is Hindus and Indians who most of the time are trying to create that environment of love, peace, happiness, and bliss above all. And that's what attracts the masses. And over a period of I would say about 15, 20 years.
Yes.
Every single community, there's not a community in America that has not acknowledges or celebrates Diwali along with Hindus. And we are so very proud to participate in those.
And I think it's probably more needed now than ever before. Do you want to share on that?
Yeah, I think it's bliss, happiness, family togetherness, good food, good music, and celebrating with light and happiness. So that's just happiness and bliss. Yeah.
Tell us about your goals for the next few years, because you're a fast-growing group. You've only been around for a year and a half. What are your goals for the next few years?
So I think, as Pankaj said, although we are 1.5 years as the Hindus of DFW, each organization that's part of this Hindus of DFW has its own history of, probably 40 to 50 years, some of them, or some of them are as new as, 5 years, 2 years, 3 years. But it's a big group of community here. And, our community has came here lately, probably, 1965 and later when the new immigration laws have come. Since then, we started migrating. That's when the most of the Indian community started coming here. And we have been one of those, because of the immigration policy that was there, which is, highly skilled labor was something that was encouraged at that time. And then we have started to see that most of Indian cream of the crop is started to flow to USA. And if you see, most of us are 78% of Indian immigrants are at least graduated, and 50% of them are masters, right?
Wow.
And there are so many Indian immigrant people here who are PhD scientists, a lot of success in that. I'm so happy that, US has embraced us. At the same time, we as Hindus, we want to be part of this mainstream.
Yes.
And our voice is heard as one, just like any other. And I think we are fortunate that America has embraced us so well. And at the same time, we have had our opportunities to be part of that mainstream. Our growth has, increased tremendously especially I would say last 2 to 3 decades.
Yes.
But have we been able to represent to the maximum, of our community? Maybe not. We have a lot of potential to well represent, or maybe there is a opportunity for us to, be part of, the bigger community here.
Yes.
And which is, quite a bit. We have contributed a whole lot. I can go over, how we have been working on the ground to be highly successful in terms of our contributions. I'll share some of those in some time when the time comes. But I think in the next few years, we would like to become one strong community that can connect well with the local elected officials, civic engagement, local administration. That being said, the reasons are, the one of the biggest issue that we see is there is a misunderstanding, right? And when we build or nurture those relationships with the local administration, we would like to dispel those misunderstandings and make sure that whoever we are, we want to speak for ourselves, not the, something that somebody, said about us. We want to say about us what we are, who we are. And those misunderstandings should be taken out. And number 2 is that we want to have that relationship built with that local administration so that our contributions are recognized. Number 2, our voice is heard in making the local decisions. Not that we want anything extra, but just like any other community, we want to be able to heard well and considered before making the final decisions. So I would like to see if other members of the
so if you really see, there's nothing that, as they say, that there's not an idea that we can think of that has already not been thought of. If you go and read a book by Bill Gates, which he wrote 25 or 30 years back, you will see Uber and, and you will see so many businesses that became multi-billion-dollar
Yes.
as written 25, 30 years back in a single book.
Yes.
So I'll say that, there's a phenomenal work that's being done by many organizations. We wish to be the growth accelerators for those end goals, be it in advocacy, be it economic. Like, you'll be surprised to know that in Metroplex, these 350,000 people are, if ChatGPT is to be believed, is contributing 5% of the DFW Metroplex in terms of GDP. The motel owners, what they are doing, the IT consultants, what they are doing, the healthcare specialists that they are doing.
Yes.
So, in the entire spectrum of the rainbow of the services that are being represented by many organizations, how Hindus of DFW can be the growth accelerator in those. And the same is in charity, because Hinduism is all about giving. There's not a book that is written which teaches us
Yes.
take.
Yes.
There's a consensus in 2 billion people that any Hindu book that you read, it talks about giving, peace, love. So how can we be growth accelerators in each of these dimensions?
Well, I think what impresses me most is you talked about 70 different organizations coming under one umbrella, and those are 70 different organizations with different missions. So talk about the power of bringing them all together.
Yeah. So the power of bringing the scientific organization, we are able to leverage the skills, expertise, and the services that each of the organization do, and we bring it to a level where we can then, as an alliance of the organization, we're able to represent ourselves to the community at large, to civic leaders, and we're able to engage with representatives or community members, either from the African American community or from the Jewish community, and see how we can collaborate and do work with them as a collective whole, right? So we bring all the expertise that we have, all the power that we have, the SAMT organization, into one organization where we can drive and create impact.
Amen. We've got about 2 minutes left, so I want to give each one of you some final thoughts. Let's begin with you.
I want to just quickly cover on some of the contributions that we have done in
Please.
3 different sections. One is service, the second is education, third one is engagement with the community. When it comes to service, I shared one of the active projects that's going on, Seva Diwali. The second one I would like to cover is Kerrville floods, when we got the floods in Central Texas.
Yes.
Our volunteers, about 300 people, they went and stayed on the site to help whatever the need is. It was driven by FEMA, and FEMA was helping us what work to do.
Yes.
But the volunteers, purely from Hindu community, nobody tells them this is the need of the society that they see. And part of the discussion, hey, let's go and contribute. It's 3-4 hours drive from here.
Yes.
People have driven from Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, and more than 300 people helped over weeks to support. And the other contribution I want to talk about is during COVID, administration of the shots. We have been able to mobilize about 100+ doctors who are Indian descendant, and they're all given their time to just administer the COVID shots. And this was one of those initiatives in the initial days. We year on year we do yoga awareness program in schools.
Yes.
We just go and spread the humanity, health for humanity is our tagline.
Yes.
Just talk about what is yoga and how they can imbibe into their life. And a lot of kids, a lot of PE teachers in the schools, in the ISDs, they love it. They want us to be going there and do these things. And I think the best thing is it's not in the interest of any of us. It's in the interest of community, that health is most important thing. And there are so many people that are going through mental stress and all of that. So yoga helps to a larger extent on that side. Then in the field of education, we would like to just share a few things. There is a program called Guru Vandana. What we do is on the May 2nd week, I think first week of May is a teacher appreciation week throughout the nation. So what we do as part of Hindus is that we invite all the teachers to one platform in a given school, and our kids are honoring them for the service that they do, because they actually shape the life and future of our kids who are going to be, in our culture, teacher is considered as guru. Guru is considered as good as a Lord, as a God. So that tradition, that value is, experienced by the teachers. Also, our kids are learning. To your earlier point, how do you engage your kids to take this value forward? This is one of the way that how we engage. Second is we also have textbooks. There are textbooks that are misrepresented on our community. And we would like to, good thing is that all the teachers are so encouraging and they're working with us, even though they are there, given that some textbook, which is probably not well written, they are teaching what they are given, right? But when they know that this is something not good, they are happy to work with us, correct that, and go forward with it. And the last thing on the education I would like to cover is there is contributions of India, what we have given to the world. We go and talk about that, and also culture to the first responders, because this is a huge community here. We would like the first responders and teachers and the leaders to know who we are, what our culture traditions is. That's about it. And the last one I would like to cover is in the engagement. So we work with interfaith groups very well, work with every faith in the group. And we also work with the African American community. We work with Native communities. So our engagement is, there's so much to talk. Because of the time limits, I can only share so much. But it's a continuous engagement from Hindus in this, and this is at a grassroots level. To Pankaj's point, what is this all about, right? I mean, the culture says you give back, and whatever way you can give back. And for us, the goal of a human is to get to a liberation in a general term, but we have a different word called moksha. So getting to liberation through service is one way of getting to the moksha. So that's predominantly what drives us to do things in the community. And this is not for our community. Everything that I spoke now, except leaving that, traditional and cultural awareness, everything else is done for the mainstream community.
So beautiful. Final thoughts.
Thank you so much. And I think 2 minutes is probably
Sorry about that.
No, it was all very good. I think that a lot of times you get asked that, a lot of Hindus wear this sacred thread, orange colored thread, and what is it? In a very simple words, Jeff, this is tied by the priest so that the God would, watch over us and will keep us away from all the danger. But more importantly, every time we do, and most of us are right-hander, when we look at it, we are reminded of the God. And when you're reminded of the God, then the one thing that we're forced to do is what is the right thing to do.
Yes.
And that's what keeps driving most of us to remain on the righteous path by constantly, being reminded that there is only one thing that is the right thing, and that's the truth that we all are seeking. Thank you so much for having us.
No, so beautiful. We'll give you the final word.
Yeah. So, Hindus of Dallas-Fort Worth are ready to engage and be part of the community in terms of community outreach, advocacy, collaborating with like-minded organizations to serve the community and do service. So we are here. We're glad to serve, and we'd like to use all the opportunities and the capabilities we have to serve the community for the better, to bring in understanding of who we are, how we integrate to the broader community within Dallas-Fort Worth, and how we can work together to bring positive change, and with kindness, with the service-oriented minds. And we say that service to mankind is service to divinity. So I think that underlines our purpose. We want to serve, and we want to be part of the larger Dallas-Fort Worth community, integrated and collaborating and working together.
Wow. Gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your wisdom with us. We're going to end with their website, which is hindusofdfw.com. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much for having us.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.